Hey there everybody, hope your day is going well. Great Old School Gaming here, and welcome to another Thoughtful Thursday. This time, as I'm sure you can tell from the title, I'm going over the Sword Art Online Aincrad arc. But first, before I get into that, I do know a few things. I'm here just reviewing the anime, but Sword Art Online did start off as a web novel series by Reki Kawahara. I hope I pronounced that right. There might be a few names as I go through that I'll just I hope to pronounce right, but honestly I might get wrong. Yeah, but eventually it did evolve into a series of self published novels, and then a series of light novels published actually by AC2 Media with artwork by Abek. Now I could be pronouncing that wrong, but there doesn't really seem to be any 100% confirmed pictures of Abek out there, which is weird. I mean, yeah, there is like some cross information that Abek and an artist named Bun Bun are the same person. Maybe there's other information that says they're not the same person. I don't know. There's just too much misinformation because it's like, oh, here's a picture of Abek. Wait, no. Other sources say that's not actually Abek, and it's just too much to try and keep track of. Honestly, I don't know what's real, and hell, if Abek or Bon Bon are the same person, they want to remain anonymous. Hey, more power to them. The anime, was done by A1 Pictures, and actually, yeah, it's been done by A1 Pictures ever since, I believe. I could be wrong. Maybe a studio has changed by now, but yeah, I'll definitely be keeping track of. Like, if a studio changes, then I'll say that at the beginning of whichever one where the studio changed. But as far as I know, it's all A1 Pictures. Now, the first season started back on, July 8th, 2012, and then went all the way to December 23rd, 2012, with the final episode. And, honestly, good thing that the end of the Mayan calendar didn't really bring the apocalypse, because that'd be really messed up. Just, oh hey, here's the final episode 2 days after the apocalypse is scheduled. Just what the hell? Yeah, but anyway. Now, of course, the time limit, at least for like what to watch and put together and whatnot. How the first season, 25 episodes. Hell, the entire Aincrad arc definitely deserves its own attention. Before I get into it, hell, the one thing that I would definitely say is that in terms of the anime, the Aincrad arc should have been so much longer than it was. And I'll get more into that at the very end of this. So, link start. Yeah, it's interesting how like certain people write certain stories about like sometime in the not so distant future. How this was. Well, okay, the anime was made in 2012. The show itself had to be made sometime before that. I didn't look up the timeline of exactly when it was originally written. But anyway, it is interesting how they say, oh hey, this is going to be what the technologies and life is like in the future, which, well, we don't have nerve gear, but people camping outside of a store for 3 days, unless you have an extremely comfortable sleeping bag, that's, oh god, my back's just hurting thinking about that. Yeah, but nonetheless, hell, see, well, at least one character right off the bat when going in, but right in the beginning, we see, well, Kirito's room. It's kind of bleak. There's not much light getting in. It's just kind of dark, which hell, that's more of a foreshadowing of the plot to soon take off. Hell, and Kirito already had his own character model from when he was a beta tester, so he can just jump right in and immediately start running through town. Now, of course, Kirito is voiced by, Bryce Peppenbrook. At least, honestly, that's the way I see the vowels, and hell, if I'm pronouncing something wrong, feel free to let me know how to actually pronounce it down in the description, or in the comments. Yeah, I'm in control of the description. Now, while running through town, Kirito gets stopped by Klein, who is voiced by Kirk Thornton. Yeah, and, hell, he trying to get help just starting, which I don't know, because I mean, did the game not come with any kind of manual? I mean, I realize, like, buying a game online doesn't exactly come with a manual. But buying a game in person, usually there's some kind of a manual with it. Right? Not normally? I mean, hell, way back in the day when I got Morrowind, well, I didn't purchase it, because I wasn't old enough to even have a job at the time, but I mean, it came with a full manual of the game, and different explanation, different game concepts, and a full-on map of Vardenfell, like a full wall scroll of the map. And hell, even a little bottle line, kind of describes how you calibrated the nerve gear so that way it would actually work or something. Yeah, I mean, hell, the game itself does seem to have like some kind of a sword skill system. I mean, you hold the blade a certain, well, not just blade, there are other weapons, but you hold the weapons a certain way, and you're pretty much guaranteed to hit, at least. It would be kind of neat if it would be pretty neat, actually, if this kind of system actually existed in the real world, where, like, everything is just based on a signal between the hardware and the brain. I mean, yeah, we have, like, VR systems, but, I mean, those are just, like, goggles over the eyes with buttons that you actually press. This is just a very simple think and do type of process. Anyway, I'm getting off track, so, I mean, hell, at this point, there's a lot of exposition to just set up the world. Because Kirito explains that in 2 months of the beta testing, the game, I guess, became a little difficult, and he couldn't really get even any further than floor 8. But he plans to reach there within a month. Probably just, like, tanking whatever, like, respawn penalty that there would be, and then just running back in and getting right back into it. And even sadder, actually, that Kirito actually feels much more alive in Aincrad than he does in his own life, which, hell, I can get more into that in the next arc. Yeah, I mean, hell, they become fast friends, and Klein has a pizza on order. Wait, hold the hell up. Teriyaki mayo pizza. I beg your pardon? What the hell is wrong with your palate? The ginger ale, whatever. Personally, I just don't drink. But, like, what the hell? Teriyaki mayo pizza. That just sounds disgusting. Ugh. Yeah, but it is at that point that, well, they can't log out. And it's just, okay. Like, the logout button just, like, doesn't exist. Is it a bug? A server issue of 10,000 people logging in at once? What's going on? I mean, hell, there's no other way to actually leave the game because you don't actually move your real body. The nerve gear just completely intercepts all signals, period. And how, like, if there was, like, a huge issue, then it's possible that all the servers could just be shut down immediately, which would force everyone to log out, and like maybe a mass email goes out that says, hey, sorry, we had some issues, we're working on it, log back in tomorrow, or something. But then everyone is force teleported right into the town center, because, well, there's a system announcement from none other than the game creator, Akihiko Kayaba, who is voiced by Mark, oh wow, Derison? Well, stupid vowels. Yeah, that's not your fault, that's just the fault of the English language, like what the hell's wrong with all the vowels? But anyway, I'm getting off track yet again. So apparently, the missing logout button is just how Sword Art Online is meant to be. Huh. A small part of me wonders if, like, Kaiba's just, like, a frustrated game designer who wanted to make a game that didn't have, end-game spoilers, like, 12 hours right after release. Because, I mean, that's how a lot of games are anymore. It's just, oh, here's a new game, 12 hours later, here's how the game ends. The hell, they spent, like, at least over a year just developing that and making it all, and then, now you're 12 hours later, just, oh, here's how the game ends. Wow, really? Yeah, so no one can really, shut down or even remove the nerve gear without, some kind of a microwave signal that would essentially fry the brain. And hell, even unplugging it, there is an internal battery for the nerve gear that would probably have just enough juice, like maybe I guess in the case of this, some kind of feature that would just, oh hey, not enough power, fry the brain with the last bit of power that there is. Yeah, it was only 4.5 hours after the game launched. Yeah, Kaiba already issued a warning to everyone. That went ignored, and already 213 people had their brains nuked. Oh boy. Yeah, but Kaiba does at least say that, anyone whose hit points reach 0, then also the nerve gear will destroy their brain. And the only way to survive is to start clearing all the floor bosses on each floor, all the way up to floor 100, and then clear the game. Yeah, and then he puts a mirror in everyone's inventory. I mean, and then essentially removes the mask of the avatar. And, yeah, they have to play as themselves. Apparently it's thanks to some high-density signal device. I mean, honestly, that sounds a little sci-fi even now. But it perfectly replicates how someone looks. I mean, how height and body type are calculated because of, calibrations. You have to touch certain parts of your body when calibrating the nerve gear or something. And apparently Kaiba's reason for doing this, why would he do this, is, well, as he puts it, he wanted to control the fate of a world of his design, and apparently he's achieved this, but, I don't know, there seems to be something else, almost like he's searching for something more. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he realizes it, maybe he doesn't. Yeah, at this point, it's not really a game anymore, it's literally life and death. I mean, and how the first mirror breaking, that one scream sets everyone off, and everyone understandably starts freaking out. Just, what the hell? I've got a life out there. I need to get out so I can go live my life. What the hell do you mean? I'm stuck in here until the game is cleared. I mean, 100 floors, that's not going to be done in an afternoon. Especially as big as, even the first several floors are. And hell, even Kirito, knowing, he had followed Akihiko Kaiba around him at the very beginning of the episode, he was reading an article about him. he knows that, hey, this guy's not joking around. Everything he said is true. Well, there's no point in freaking out. And but he has played different MMOs before. I mean, hell, he knows that whenever on the release of an MMO or expansion to an MMO, he knows that the initial areas are just completely dominated by the players that get there first. And he says, okay, well, if we're going to go, yeah, the sticking to the road might be a little dangerous, might be a little difficult, but if we get to the next town, we can get a head start. Again, since he was a beta tester, he already knows the way. But Klein is, of course, well, a good friend to his friends, and he doesn't want to abandon his own friends who also bought the game and camped out with him. I mean, hell, he ran a guild in the last game. Yeah, he doesn't exactly say if his friends were part of that guild, but I mean, hell, he's already got some base knowledge to survive in this type of game. At that point, Kirito just makes a solemn vow to himself, mainly to himself, well, only to himself because no one else is there now, that he will survive no matter what. However, I mean, it's a whole entire month. I mean, it took 2 months for Kirito and the other beta testers to get all the way up to floor 8. But 1 month into the game's actual release, well, over 2,000 people got their brains nuked, and yet floor 1 has yet to even be cleared. Now, this is actually the perfect time to bring up the opening credits theme. I mean, the song itself is Crossing Field by Lisa. And this is not the only song opening or even closing credits that she's done. I'm pretty sure she has at least a couple I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe more. 1, 2... Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely more. Actually, quite a few more, but anyway. Yeah, I'll be getting more into those later, because I'm just concentrating on this one for now. For me, at least. For me, this was the first time that I heard her voice, and I immediately fell in love with it. The way she carries her notes, and the whole song itself is just actually quite pleasant. And yeah, the visuals for the opening credits are, well, something. Yeah, there are plenty of other characters other than just Kirito and Asuna. I'll get to those in a bit, but it mainly portrays their determination and willpower to get through the game, which, I mean, I can get into that later. And there's one part in the opening credits where Kirito just essentially gets sucked into a void that opens up in the town of beginnings, and he just keeps continuing. He keeps fighting on despite all that. I mean, same with Asuna. She's just almost looking through an impassable barrier, looking between her sort of online self and then her real world self. And as they start working together more and more, they realize that they work better together than just on their own. Yeah, so like I said, a full month, 2,000 players just completely gone from the game and also from real life. Yeah, well, finally, a whole bunch of people come together to come up with a plan on how to approach and defeat the first floor boss. And what was it? Oh yeah, Diavel, voiced by, Sean Chiplock. There's not really much interpretation of that, so hopefully that pronunciation is right. I mean, he tries to, kind of break the tension in there with a joke, and then, yeah, and then kind of just moves on, just hey, everyone needs to start forming parties since no one person can really defeat the boss on their own. And how all that really isn't helped when Kibo, Kibao? Yeah, there we go. Kibao, voiced by Derek Stephen Prince. Yeah, he just jumps in and tries to call out all the beta testers. They have to give up everything they've got because they had knowledge of the game. They hugged good spawn points and experience and everything. Not everyone's gonna put up with that though, because in comes Eagle, voiced by Patrick States, and tells him to shut the hell up. Well, he says a lot nicer than I would have, but I mean, every single vendor in the game would have had a free book available, which would have been compiled by the beta testers about all the information of all the bosses that they encountered. And hell, that book is available to all players. All players have that information, regardless if they are beta testers or not. I don't understand what Kibao's problem is. I mean, beta tester or not, everyone is trapped in the game, period. So what the hell's the big deal? At least now they know the boss's name. It's, what, Ilfing the Kobold Lord. Yeah, he gets to be surrounded by minions, and hell, I mean, like many game bosses across many different games, down to the last few hit points, Ilfang will be switching up. He's supposed to switch weapons to a Tolwar, and then change the attack pattern. Devil's at least smart enough to kind of establish the rule that, hey, experience, as well as any items that are dropped, go to whoever gets them. And as long as there's no objections, which there's not. At least after that, it seems as though Kibao and Devil become friends. They're sharing some drinks. Kyoto, well, after forming a party with Asuna, who's voiced by Jeremy Lay. Again, that could be right, could be wrong, but not too far away. And Asuna is just kind of eating a little bread roll. And apparently Kirito got some cream to help it taste a little better, which, I mean, honestly seems to work. Because Asuna puts the cream on, just takes a bite, and then oh, okay, I guess it tasted good. And Kirito tries to tell her hey, this is almost tries to get around to saying, hey, this is how you would complete that quest in the next town over in order to get this item. She doesn't want it because apparently she's only on the front line, so she doesn't lose sight of who she is, and she refuses to lose to the game or the world. Kirito more or less asks her to promise not to die, since he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to lose a party member, ever. Fair enough. And how this is even Asuna's first time in a party, but that doesn't seem to matter too much, because she gets to be pretty good. I mean, hell, as everyone enters the room, that is kind of neat. When everyone enters the room, it's just it almost looks like the color has been sucked out of it until all the light turns on and it just becomes super technicolor. And things seem to be going pretty well. DFL does a decent job of calling out orders to everyone in the different groups. I mean, well, he wouldn't have time to learn everyone's name, so it's just hey, Group A, do this. Group B, do that. Well, at least it's something. And as expected, when Ilfang gets down to his final few hit points, he abandons his normal weapons, but then pulls out a different weapon. And Kirito even notes that, hang on, that's not a Tolwar, that's an Odachi. Oh crap, I mean, he just starts jumping, bouncing off the damn pillars like a friggin' pinball, and then takes Dival out in one hit. Oh boy. It is confusing though that Diaville didn't even want to like take a healing potion. It's just like, dude, take it so that way you live. I get the whole like, okay, let's gotta inspire the main character, but still, it's like, dude, take it and then be like, oh, I need you while I'm healing. I need you to take charge and fight. Or hell, maybe he just like given up at that point. But even still, it doesn't make sense that he would give up at that point. Everything was going so well until Elfing brought out the wrong weapon. Well, even Kirito's inner monologue is just like, for a while, until now, he was only concerned about how he would survive, how he would make it through. He wasn't really concerned with anyone else. But I guess, like, Diavelle digitizing, so to speak, at least inspired him to, like, steel his resolve and take the fight. And then Asuna starts running at his side, and, she, almost gets hit, but she manages to duck just in time to where only her cloak gets taken out. It's just, we finally get to see her face. At least that's the only loss, because, Kirito and Asuna both are trading blows with Ilfane, but then he gets knocked down. Like, down to barely anything health, and Ilfane's standing over both of them. But then, Aegil to the rescue. Yeah, he strikes at the weapon and just like, okay, you heal, we'll hold it off. And that was all the time that they needed. Kirito jumps in, and right after Aegil and all the other players get knocked down. And I will say that the theme song Swordland, which was composed, if I can say certain words, composed by Yuki Kajiura? That looks right. Swordland is just sounding off in the background. But once Ilfang finally gets taken down, both Asuna and Aegil are just like, hey, well done, good job. And then, oh wow, who should start bitching? Who should be the one to just be like, oh, wah, like a sore winner, like winner's remorse? What the hell's going on? Yeah, but, it's Kibao. Kibao's just like, how could you let this happen? Like, dude, no one intended for this. Shut the hell up. Part of me does kind of understand, because he and Diavelle became friends after the whole little meeting, like mouthing off. Yeah, so he's upset that Diavelle's gone, and he's just like, oh yeah, you used to be a beta tester, you damn cheater, and honestly, I don't understand, like, Kirito could have said, hey, that weapon, it was supposed to be a Towai, but something changed from what was written in the book versus what I actually saw. What I saw was an Odachi. And then Kirito could have just said something along the lines of being, like, a fan of swords, but I guess we gotta have an edgy main character, or something. And freaking Kibao just like, everyone needs to hate on you, and screw you, and you're a piece of crap, and Kirito just starts laughing, just, you wanna call me a beta tester? Please. Every single one of those beta testers were just absolute noobs. I made it further than anyone. Which, yeah, and then that prompts people to give him the nickname Beater, which he's just, yeah, sure, I'm a beater. Yeah, and I guess in a way he just kind of wanted to paint himself as the villain, so no one else, none of the other beta testers were ostracized by all the other players. Yeah. Pretty sure Kibao would have expected a slightly different response than that. But, he's just a jackass. And that jackassery is seen more and more as time goes on. as Kirito's leaving, Asuna's just, hey, how did you know my name? Because, like, while fighting Ilfang, he constantly called out her name. And she just, how did you know my name? He's just, we're in the same party. Don't you see the, like, the 2 health bars up there? And he tells her, hey, if someone you trust asks you to join the guild, you should do it. Because, I've got to play solo now because everyone hates me. And at the end of that, hell, it's the first time with the ending credits, at least ending credits song. Hell, perfect time to talk about it. The song is called Yume Sakai, which translates literally to Dream World, and it's sung by Tomatsu Haruka, who is also Asuna's Japanese voice actress. There's not really too much visually. It's just like Kirito and then inverted Asuna down, and yeah, at least in their Aincrad outfits, kind of rustling in a breeze. And looking at the song itself, it is kind of difficult to translate into English just because of the rules of the English language. And with the context of the anime, it's kind of a love song between, like, kind of representing the bond between Kirito and Asuna, and how the words Zuto, forever. Well, I've been going for a bit already, and, well, that's more or less the establishing plot for this arc, so things should go a little quicker, hopefully. So now we get to meet the Moonlit Black Cats, which, at the time of meeting, has 5 members, including Sachi, who's voiced by, oh wow, okay, Xanth Hyun. Again, English language and different sometimes certain consonants can have different pronunciations, and then vowels have multiple pronunciations. Yeah, I really hope I pronounced that right. But, they just immediately start talking about how Kirito saved them, and, they say Kirito says he's level 20, which is the same level as them. Probably because they would actually ask, like, hey, we're level 20, all the way down on... Okay, so I didn't take note of what floor they're on, but definitely below floor 28. Yeah, but I don't understand why he had to lie. It's not as though they would have cared. It's just like, oh, you're such a high-level player. I guess he just didn't want to be questioned about what he was doing down there, which he doesn't really even say. And there are other times when he's in a low player level area, and he does eventually explain why he's there, but this time he doesn't for some reason. Whatever. Hell, initially, the Moonlit Black Cats are, they're all friends from high school, all in the same computer club, so they can easily joke around and poke fun at each other, as close friends do. And then Kirito joins up, and hell, they're all fighting, different monsters. Yeah, a full 6 months after the hell started. Yeah. And the assault team made it all the way to floor 28. In 6 months. From the start, 1 month later, finally the first floor gets cleared. Another 5 months later, and floor 28 is clear. That's quite the progress. I don't know, maybe fighting that first boss made it to where, hey, this is how we do things, this is how we switch out and fight and watch out for each other, so they can make it a bit quicker. Yeah, Keita even asks, hey, what does the assault team has? And Kirito says, information. Access to good experience farming areas, and they can level much more quickly. Keita says it's actually just sheer willpower to push forward and get better, which, I would say it's a bit of both. And how he even, Keita even believes that, hey, the Moonlit Black Cats have that willpower, they just need to actually get stronger, so they can survive against the higher levels. Kirito even admires that, just thinking that, well, hey, his ideals could potentially change the, well, elitist attitude of the assault team. Yeah, I guess kind of, like, certain people might, yeah, but anyway. Yeah, so Keita goes back to the town in the beginning so that way he can buy a guild house for everyone. As he leaves, the others decide that, hey, they should go out, start fighting monsters to gain more money so they can buy more fixings for the house. Which, fair enough. I mean, they open up like a hidden room, and there's a chest, like, perfectly placed right in the dead center of the room, and it's just, like, okay, these guys are part of the computer club in high school, right? Have they never played a video game in their entire lives? A single chest in a small, windowless room, that's a giant trap. Like, what? And how they get ambushed by, let's see, how many? 1, 2... Okay, well, after the calculations, it is an absolute shit ton of golems and dwarves. And since they went to a higher level dungeon to try and earn money quicker, but they get taken out pretty much immediately. Kirito tries to get to Sachi, but, well, unfortunately, she gets digitized as well. Yeah, Kirito tries to explain to Kato what happened, and it's just like, oh, you're just a beater, you don't deserve to be in our group, and then he jumps into the void off the side of Aincrad. So another 7 months later, yeah, on the day of Christmas Eve, which would be just over a year, a little over a year of Sword Art Online being launched, there's supposed to be some kind of event boss, which is only known as Nicholas the Renegade. And apparently this boss is supposed to drop a unique item that will help revive a player. Which, I mean, hell, Kirito wants it. I mean, he's trying to go out solo because he just completely blames himself for what happened to everyone. I can kind of understand blaming himself, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, it's not your fault. They walked into the most obvious trap in the history of traps. You did try to stop them. It is not entirely your fault. I mean, how the last thing he remembers about Sachi is, like, her lips moving, but he couldn't hear what she said. And he wants to revive her, because even if she's going to curse him out, he still wants to hear what she has to say. As he's getting closer and closer, Klein shows up with his guild, and he even tries to reach out a friendly hand, just, hey, dude, you are not alone. Stop trying to do everything on your own. Then some other guild shows up to try and get the item, and they don't give a damn. Yeah, but Klein and his guild hold them off, just like, hey, please, go get it. Kirito shows up, and, well, Kirito finds a glowing fir tree, and then right on cue, Nicholas the Renegade shows up. It's a shame that there's no, like, visual to the fight, just Kirito jumping through the air and just like, oh, hard cut, he wins. How? Well, he is protected by the power of main character. That's how. And hell, even after getting the item, Kirito just tosses it at Klein. Because, like, the revival item can work, but it has to be applied to a player within 10 seconds of them reaching 0 HP. Yeah, wow. And Kirito's just completely distraught. He's just, good, take it. Use it on the next person you see who falls down right in front of you. Kirito goes back to his room, and then, like, a timed message, like a message that was timed for the future, arrives from Sachi. Sachi doesn't exactly say when she sent the message, but just that she didn't believe she would even make it to Christmas, and yeah, she timed the message to be sent right then, and hell, she even knew Kirito would blame himself, and just asked him to keep on living, and yeah, like hums along to the tune of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and their final words to Kirito. Yeah, like he matches up like her final words in the message with her final words in the trap room is just thank you, goodbye. Oh, Riki Kawahara, what in the hell? Like, god damn, you really know how to write a really heartbreaking scene. I mean, good on you, but god damn, seriously, did you really have to rip out everyone's heart with that? I mean, if that was your goal, congratulations, you succeeded. At least now we get to meet Silica, who is voiced by Christine Marie Cabanas. Yeah, she seems to be having, at least initially, a bit of a tiff with her teammates, and God, Rosalie. Well, since Silica has a healing pet lizard, that Silica doesn't need any healing crystals, and it's just like, because I've played different games where it's like, oh hey, there's a familiar nearby. Sometimes the familiar fights, sometimes the familiar heals, but you still want healing items even if you have a healing familiar, because most likely that familiar will only do so much at a time, and you might need extra healing items to make up for what that familiar couldn't do. God, I just want to backhand Rosalie across the face. Spoiled bitch. Yeah, so Silica runs off to try going solo, and ends up like going against in a fight with some giant ape creatures. But unfortunately, she's not really getting too much done. Yeah. Oh boy. And hell, even Pina steps in to try and heal her, but then eventually gets smacked away by a club. And Kirito comes charging in with the timing of main character. Yeah, and Silica is only left with a little feather that's like Pina's heart. And apparently there's like some kind of area on floor 47 that can revive familiars. But it has to be done within 3 days. And Kirito offers to help and gives her some stuff, just like, hey, you know what, I will help you, because, like, what's happening with you kind of aligns with my goals. What those goals are, he doesn't really say. At least as they make it to town, at least they do make it back to town, I should say. And, yeah, in comes Rosalie. Oh, god damn. Wait, hold on. Who voices Rosalie? Okay. I've been pronouncing it as Rosalie. It's Rosalia. My bad. I guess my notes are not 100% accurate. Whatever. It's bound to happen. Yeah, so Rosalia voiced by, Laura Post. God damn. Laura, you definitely do an excellent job at portraying a condescending, spoiled bitch. Please take that as a compliment of your voice acting skills. And hell, as Kirito and Silica are sitting down to dinner, Kirito explains that, hey, in MMOs, like normal MMOs, sometimes people can roleplay as villains, just like kind of harass other players and like do some stuff that maybe is not the norm, but still allowed within the game. And hey, everyone can have a few laughs. Not really too bad. Everyone can respawn, get their stuff back, and so on. But Sword Art Online is different. When people drop to 0 HP, there's no respawn. There's no coming back. It's not a game. I mean, this is essentially just hell on Earth. Yeah, it's at this point that it's kind of established that there are player markers above everyone's head. Like, normally, everyone starts as green, but then someone who commits a crime against another green player becomes orange. And those who become player killers become red. Yeah, yeah, and hell, even that night, as Kirito wants to talk strategy, they were being spied on a lot. Well, not really a lot, just by one person who had apparently really good listening skills. Because normally you can't hear through a door unless you knock, but if you are skilled enough, you can actually spy, like, through a closed door. But hell, they do make it to floor 47, and it's like a giant flower garden, and, well, in a giant flower garden, who would be there but a lot of couples? Yeah, and Silica immediately notices, but Kirito, either because he's just naive, or maybe he's just had strong concentrating on whatever goal he has, doesn't really notice. At least he knows the path straight to the Hill of Memories, and they go along. But a giant piranha plant just like grabs her, flings her up in the air, and she's just, save me, don't look, because, well, she's wearing a skirt, and he's just, well, that'll be difficult. Yeah, but hell, they fight side by side because, well, as he puts it, she reminds him of his sister in a way. Now, okay, I realize this is the online, well, the avatar for Kirito's sister in the next arc, but Silica, Leafa, like, what? How? How does this even compare? Yeah, but Kirito, it's kind of exposition for the main character to go out, because both he and Suguha were, well, I don't have a picture yet, but I will next arc. Yeah, they were both kind of forced into kendo practice at the behest of the grandfather, which, I mean, I can, like, a part of me can understand. But at the same time, it's like you don't force kids into something. You, like, bring it up to them and then say, like, ask them, because, I mean, hell, I made a dish for my oldest nephew not that long ago. It was a Spanish chorizo rice, which can be a little spicy. It's definitely not for everyone. I told him, hey, you cannot say you don't like it unless you try at least one bite. And he agrees to that. He tries one bite, but he didn't really like it. But, I mean, the Spanish chorizo rice, maybe not for everyone. And yeah, Kirito wanted to quit, and then, like, apparently Grandpa beat the hell out of him. But then his sister said that she would train hard enough for both of them. Yeah, my opinions on certain things aside, they both Kirito and Silicon make it to the right spot and get the Numa flower. And they manage to make it back almost to town without not really any issues until Rosalia shows up to ambush them. Because of course. Yeah, and apparently at some point, like about a week and a half back from where this takes place, yeah, Rosalia being the leader of some kind of orange player guild, yeah, they ambushed another guild called the Silver Flags, but most people died except for the leader, and the leader didn't want revenge, didn't want them hurt, just wanted them put into prison so that way they couldn't hurt anyone else. Yeah, and Rosalia goes off saying, "Oh, well, there's no proof that that dying in the game means getting that dying in the real world," which, yeah, I mean, I suppose, like, I suppose you could look at it as, oh hey, someone's HP drops to 0, they drop out of the game forever, they can't play this game anymore. I suppose you could look at things that way, which, I mean, honestly, that's more just a coping mechanism than anything else, but after, what, it'd be, right, it would be like 15 months at this point. After 15 months being stuck in the game, no one's able to log out or leave, you would think if someone could confirm that there are no real-world deaths, that they would find a way within 15 months? Yeah, well, Rosalia calls a bunch of her guild members out to, a bunch of orange and even some red players, and they hear, like, Silica call out to, hey, Kirito, and they're just, wait, hold on, Kirito? A one-handed sword, a swordsman dressed in black? He's one of the best players on the front lines. Rosalia's just, oh, please, there's no way someone like that would be here. Get him. Yeah, and you can, like, see his health going down a little bit. So little. I mean, because, okay, I did take notes. Yeah, apparently they can only do about 400 points of damage in 10 seconds. But Kirito is already level 78. With 14,500 hit points and the ability to self-regenerate 600 hit points every 10 seconds? Yeah, essentially so much faster than they can do damage, and there's absolutely no chance. I guess that, well, I never really played any, like, MMOs, but I have played games where there's, like, a leveling system, and sometimes, the higher level you are, the more just ridiculously overpowered you can be, provided you level right. Yeah, and Rosalie just says, yeah, well, I'm a green player, so if you try to hurt me, then you'll turn orange. And Kirito's just, oh, shut the hell up, I'm a solo player. You really think I'd give a damn about playing orange for a few days? And how he had the teleport crystal that the leader of the Silver Flags had made, so that way they could all be teleported to prison. Yeah, I mean, hell, that's honestly the best way to do things. Just like, hey, we're stuck in here, and we are not killers, so we're just gonna put you into prison, so that way you're done. And Kirito tells Silica later that, hey, someone's strength in-game is an illusion, and honestly, there are more important things to like, be aware of. A full month later, there's a plan, well, a meeting with the assault team on how to fight the boss on what was it, floor 56. Which, I mean, what they want to do is they want to lure the boss into town where it can, like, potentially attack the NPCs. Kirito just doesn't want that, but he's immediately shut down. I mean, hell, in this game, NPCs can always respawn. But players don't get that luxury. Yeah, Kirito and Asuna are just, like, button heads. Eigo says, hey, what's going on between you two? And Kirito just says, hey, we just simply don't click. And then another month later, all the way up on floor 59 now, Asuna, well, I guess this is the episode for Asuna to start to learn a lesson about certain things. Yeah, Asuna tries to just, like, kick Kirito in the high gear by nagging at him. Like, why are you just resting here? Why are you just sleeping? There's things that need to be done. Kirito's just like, hey, you got to take a moment to lay on the grass for a moment. At least at that point, well, through Kirito, Asuna can learn to relax and take a nap in the shade. I mean, hell, at this point, Asuna has learned earned, or attained, whatever word you want to use. Yeah, her nickname now is Lightning Flash. Yeah, because they're just sitting in a restaurant eating, and well, another day in the death game, and another problem to Aincrad. Because now there are people who are sleeping PKers who like try to like duel someone in a duel to the death, but that person is asleep. So they send the invite and then manipulate the person's body so that just like yeah, picking up their finger and hitting accept. God damn. Well, I suppose this is just like an example of some people who like can't handle being trapped there, so they just completely snap and quite literally dive into the dark side of things. So at least that didn't happen to Ansano while she was sleeping in the middle of a field. Then they hear a scream from somewhere in town, run over, and, well, it looks like someone has been impaled by a sword. So, and they're hanging from a rope in just complete head to toe in armor. And as soon as he disappears, Kirito tries to just see, hey, who has the winner icon over their head? And no one else was inside the building, and the only possible explanation is that this was a duel. And at this point, if someone has figured out how to PK other players in the safe zones where no one's supposed to die, no one's safe. Yeah. Yeah, and then they end up talking to Yoko, who, she and well, the friend of hers was Kynes. They once belonged to the same guild called the Golden Apple. They got separated in town, and she got lost from him, and then next time she saw him, well, he was hanging from the rafters, impaled by the sword, which for some reason they call a spear at some point. Yeah, but they need someone with an appraisal skill, and as Kirito puts it, well, you obviously don't have that. And she just, excuse me, could you be a little nicer when we're talking? And he just, oh, should I call you Miss? It's the second in command? Lightning Flash? It's like, dude, dude, that was so incredibly rude. Just, yeah, you obviously don't have an appraisal skill. Hell, neither do you, jackass. Well, that could have been Kirito's lesson for the day, but he didn't really pay attention at all. Yeah, well, Eagle owns a shop, and hell, he identifies that a player named Grimlock made the sword, and it's called Guilty Thorn. Yeah, and then like Kirito's about to just cut his own hand with it, and also just what the hell are you doing? This already killed someone. He's just, yeah, but it really shouldn't work in the safe zone, right? And she's like, it doesn't matter. Throws it to Egil, just, yeah. They get back to Yoko and figure out that, oh hey, that Grimlock was in the same guild, and that when their guild was actually together, they took down a rare monster that dropped a ring that gave a huge boost to agility. And there was some debate as to whether someone could use it or try to sell it. And the vote was 5-3 to sell it. And then Griselda, the guild leader, went to try and sell it. Which, I don't know. I might want to try and argue it's good use, but at the same time, if there was an argument about who gets to use it, maybe it's better just to sell it off and split the profits, so that way, who cares? And then it's not well, okay, but you have a better agility, so you should be fighting more, right? No, maybe. But, unfortunately, Griselda never came back from selling it, and no one knows what happens. Yeah, apparently, though, Grimlock and Griselda were married in the game, and Yeah, it's possible that whoever the killer is going after those who wanted to keep the ring, or was it, yeah, because those three wanted to keep it, right? And with the third person who wanted to keep it being Schmidt, who's already part of the Dragon Alliance, something or another. Yeah, I forget exactly what the name of the guild is, but oh, the Holy Dragon Alliance, that was it. Yeah, Kirito even speculates like how could a player death occur in the safe zone? Well, I mean, one possible being a duel gone wrong. A second, someone utilizing some kind of system glitch, or maybe a unique item. Oh wait, no. I mean, even the unique item would still be bound by the system, so that couldn't happen, right? Yeah, it's a little far fetched. But they bring Schmidt to Yoko, and like they tried discussing like how could things happen, and Yoko is just like losing her mind at saying it's Griselda's ghost, and a ghost would not be bound by the rules of the game. Yeah, Yoko just seemed seems to completely lose her mind, and then well, there's a dagger in her back, and then she falls to the ground and becomes digitized. At that point, Kirito spots someone wearing some kind of a hooded cloak, and immediately chases after them, but has to stop when they use a teleport crystal to get away because you can't really follow through a teleport unless you're allowed to. And how even as Kirito makes it to the room, he just smacks the wall, and a little pop-up that just says "Immortal Object." I wonder if that's foreshadowing anything. Yeah, and at that point, Schmidt is completely lost because he's just, yeah, the Griselda's ghost is coming after us because we wanted to keep the ring. We should just listen to her. And yeah, honestly, he doesn't believe it because why would a ghost even need a teleport crystal at all? Yeah, he sits down with Asuna. They start eating quite the tasty looking sandwich. And he kind of like pokes fun at her a little bit for making something so tasty. And then he drops it, and well, the sandwich disappears. And he's just, wait a minute, that is exactly what it looks like when a player dies as well. It's like the same exact thing. And he figures out that, hey, what was it? Oh yeah. Kynes and Yoko were like making them see only what they were supposed to see. Like because in the safe zone, a player's health doesn't go down, but equipment durability can, especially if it's been already ripped open by another item, such as a dagger or a sword. Oh, Schmidt makes his way to Griselda's grave, and apparently he was given a teleport crystal and instructions to bind it to Griselda's room, and then put that crystal into the guild storage, and that was it. That was all that he did. Yeah, Yoko and Kynes are the ones confronting Schmidt about what he did, but then Schmidt is actually the one hit with a paralyzing dagger. Yeah, and then the Laughing Coffin Guild, also known as the Murder Guild, comes in to, like, just say, hey, you boys are ready to die. And then Kirito comes riding in on horseback and then says, hey, I got 30 members from the assault team right on my heels. You want to stick around and fight all of them? And they don't call his bluff and just head on out. Yeah, Yoko and Kynes did get Grimlock to forge those items, but he forged those items because he was worried that someone snooping around would lead to actual answers. And how, the scene just keeps kind of flipping back and forth, because Kirito and Asuna are kind of having their conversation regarding a rare item drop. Kirito plays solo to avoid conflicts, and Asuna's guild, well, just whoever gets the item in their inventory gets the item. No debate, no muss, no fuss, all good. Super simple. And then players who become married in the game can share their storage with each other. And Asuna thinks that's pragmatic and romantic. And oh yeah, and Kirito just says, "So how many times have you been married?" Oh, excuse me. Oopsies. That is so not what Asuna meant. She's just she says that marriage is practical since everything that you have in storage is out in the open. You don't have any secrets. And then Kirito starts thinking, well, okay, so if one person who's married dies, everything in that inventory would go to the surviving partner, right? Or in other words, Grimlock. Yeah, it turns out Grimlock hired Laughing Coffin to get rid of his wife for some reason. Well, he tries to explain the reason, but it's such a bass-backwards reason. Grimlock apparently just wanted to marry a mannequin for a wife. I mean, I guess before the Sword Art Online came out, she was the perfect wife, quiet, submissive, and completely obedient. Yeah, like a mannequin with flesh and blood. And then once Sword Art Online started, she was the one who became more outward, and he became just completely terrified. Which, I mean, hell, I can understand being terrified in that kind of situation, but it's god damn, you still married her in real life and in the game, so talk to her. Your partner is the one person you can show every single weakness to, and they won't judge you. At least they shouldn't judge you. And if he couldn't have the old her, he would settle for the memory of her, realizing that, well, murder is just a part of the game. At least when Asuna asked Kirito, just hey, how would you feel if someone you married changed? And for the first time, he actually had a decent response. He just said he would be lucky to find another side of someone to love. And it is interesting that Griselda's spirit shows up for a moment, just giving a warm smile, just a way to say, "Hey, thanks for solving the mystery of what actually happened." Oh boy! Finally get to meet Lisbeth, who's voiced by Sarah Ann Williams. Yeah, just sharpening up Asuna's rapier all the way on floor 48. And you can tell that they're good friends because Elizabeth realizes that Asuna's kind of a little dressed up. She's got some earrings in. Just, oh hey, you're going on a date. And Asuna's just no. That's not like it. Kinda. Yeah, but I mean, hell, more than just sharpening swords. Elizabeth has her own smith, her own shop, and Kirito wants something close to, or at least the same as his the Elucidator. And then she brings him just a sword, and just this is the best sword I've ever forged. It's pretty light, but forged with some type of a speed metal. Well, then again, I mean, it's a game. They just ding, 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 done. Because forging if you see some documentaries about sword forging in real life, it's more than just 3 hits with a hammer. Poof, done. and then he wants to test its durability and just smacks his own sword, but then Elizabeth said it would shatter his sword, but instead her masterpiece was shattered. Just oops. So Elizabeth challenges him to head out to get the right material for the absolute best possible sword. Well, the only place to get it is on floor 55, where there's a dragon that eats crystals and stores the crystals with a unique metal in its body. But the type of ingot will only show up if a master smith is nearby, apparently. I'm not sure what the arbitrary rules of that are, but yeah, they make their way up a long snowy mountain, and just before encountering the dragon, Kyoto just tells her, stay out of the way. And she's just, hey, I can fight, and he's just, no, shut the hell up, you stay out of the way. Which is kind of rude, but then again, she doesn't really understand his PTSD from losing some close friends. I mean, hell, of course, I mean, it wasn't actually mentioned what floor the assault team is at, but obviously, Kirito, being through the power of main character, can handle pretty much anything the dragon throws at him. And of course, Liz has to just jump out. Liz. I forgot to feature that, but yeah, Liz. She jumps out and just, oh, you idiot. She gets blown away by, some a harsh wind from the dragon's the wings. And gets blown right over a massive pit. They both fall down. Thankfully, they survive. I mean, again, the power of main character. They fall into the bottom of the pit. There doesn't seem to be any way out, and Kirito's first and only idea is to just run up like a sheer flat wall. He gets a decent ways up before just slipping on some of the ice and falling back down. Just, okay, that didn't work. They do have to set up camp at the bottom. Liz asks why he saved her, and he just can't stand by and watch someone die alone. And it is interesting, this one, because Liz notes just how warm his hand is, even though they're in a digital world. Kind of same vibes as the whole what is real from The Matrix. Which actually isn't too far off, considering the nerve gear interacts directly with the brain. But in the morning, Kirito finds a crystal ingot at the bottom of the pit. Or dragon's nest? Okay. And apparently, at least in Aincrad, dragons are nocturnal. And it's just, oh, the sun's coming up. Crap. The instant they realize that it just comes barreling down, Kirito doesn't, wait for permission, just picks Liz up and throws her over his shoulder, runs up the wall again, but this time lodging his sword into the back of the dragon, so that way it flies back out and essentially lets them run away safe. Poor Liz, because at that point, she does confess her feelings for Kirito as they're falling down, but he couldn't really hear her, so she just decides that she'll tell him after she makes the sword, which becomes the Dark Repulsor. One hell of a name. And she doesn't really need money, she just wants to be his exclusive smith to do maintenance on his equipment every time he comes back from the front lines. But then Asuna shows up, and that's when Liz realizes, oh, this guy is the one Asuna likes, and she's a good friend. She's not gonna try and compete or steal him out from under her. It's just, I need a friend like that. Well, after she runs away, at least Kirito does seem to be getting a little smarter. He tracks down Liz. He says that he initially, he was, super glad they were both alive at the bottom of the dragon's nest. Because initially he thought that the only end to the world would be to just die eventually. But instead, he promises Liz he will clear the game, and hell, he's at least always welcome in her shop. So now Kirito gets to like dance around with some lizard snake in a dungeon on floor 74. In October, almost nearly 2 years. Yeah, October 2024, which would be nearly 2 years after the game began. And Kirito's just wondering what's Akihiko Kaiba thinking right now. Like, what's he thinking about, like, the progress and how everything is going. But on the way back to town, what would Kirito find other than Ragu Rabbit, which is like the ultimate S-class tier food. And at first he wants to sell it to Eagle. After all, you would need a high cooking skill just to cook it, otherwise it would just burn. And then who should show up at the store but Asuna, who apparently maxed out her cooking skills recently. And he tries to like say like, oh, I'll let you have a bite, but she's just, no, I get half. Okay, yes. Yeah, unfortunately, Eagle can't even can't even get a taste, which, I mean, kind of sucks. Then Asuna just invites Kirito over, because she points out, you probably don't even have any cookware, do you? No, I don't. Yeah. At that point, Asuna just, like, essentially dismisses Kuda-Deal, who is voiced by Doug Erholtz, but he says he can't leave her alone. Which, no, so some kind of stalker vibes there. Asuna tells him off and just like, listen, this is a safe zone. Piss off. Yeah, and then just literally drags Kirito away. Yeah, I guess there's like, since the last time Kirito met Asuna, there's some new policy that apparently the higher-ups in the guild need a bodyguard at all times. Yeah, Asuna seems to almost like have to reassure herself that that because they are the strongest guild, all the new policies and regulations that they're necessary. At least Asuna's apartment does seem to have a decent view, a decent location. Hell, it would have to, costing $4 goddamn million. Jeez. Yeah, and even though like just like using the knife to point and point and point and like make stuff, yeah. yeah, there does seem to be some kind of there definitely seems to be some kind of a taste acknowledgement for their brains. Again, what is real? And hell, at this point in the game, it seems as though less and less people, like with every floor cleared, there's less and less people that are actually concerned or interested in clearing the game. And they're just essentially becoming complacent in their lives, with their lives in Aincrad. They're all just more or less getting used to it, but at least there's plenty of people like Kirito and Asuna who want to actually clear the game and get back. At this point, their relationship definitely starts to get a little more than maybe more than acquaintances, at least. Because she's teasing Kirito, saying, "Oh, hey, that look on your face. I know that's the same as just before somebody tries to propose to me." And he becomes flustered. She just keeps teasing him, keeps pushing him, just like, "Oh, so you've never had a girlfriend before." Just, yeah, does that matter, though? Yeah, but, she asks if he really is okay with being just a lone solar player, because ever since floor 70, things are getting more and more dangerous. The monster patterns are more irregular. And he just says that, well, most of the time, other people don't know what they're doing, and they get in the way. Except for her. Except for her. Yeah, and, Asuna's guild doesn't have any, leveling requirements, so she can try to ditch her bodyguard. And Kirito wonders if this is really, if this kind of a situation, this kind of a world, why did Akihiko Kaiba want to create this? Yeah, hell, the next morning, Kirito's just, waiting at the teleporter. Then up comes Asuna, just, crash teleporting into him. He doesn't know what the hell happened. He manages to cup a feel. Then she just immediately slaps him right into a nearby monolith structure that's just and as soon as he hits it again, the pop-up immortal object. Crocodile quickly follows her through the teleporter, which I guess is kind of a. Either he was close enough to hear where she wanted to teleport to, or he got the right guess immediately. Or maybe he used, some kind of guild tracking thing to just, okay, she went to that floor. Crocodile tries to, drag Asuna away, and Kirito's just, oh, hell no, you don't control people. People can do what they want. At that point, Crocodile just loses his cool, challenges Kirito to a single strike duel. And there are plenty of bystanders, including some mysterious cloaked watcher. And of course, through the power of main character, Kirito immediately breaks Crocodile's blade with a single strike. Kirito invites him to try with another weapon, but then he gets stopped by Asuna. Goddamn, what a sore loser trying to say that Kirito being a beater somehow cheated in the duel. Dude, you lost. Just take the loss and go. Then Asuna just even says, as second in command, I relieve you of your duty. As stalker, or no, bodyguard, right? At least he accepts that and leaves at long last. Asuna even admits that the guild is kind of getting on her nerves because, well, which might have something to do with her drive to clear the game, or maybe because of how much she asks of other members, or yeah. And Kirito even says that most of her guild's success is mainly due to her, and then no one has the right to complain if she wants to take a day off. And hell, even having been a solo player for so long, Kirito just says, wow, how much of a difference it makes to have someone who really knows what they're doing. Hell, I mean, they arrive at the boss door and they just, okay. Well, apparently boss monsters never leave the room that they're in. Wait, so what was that thing, back in episode 5? Trying to lure the boss into town so it can be distracted by the NPCs? Whatever. I guess that's a plot hole. There's a few in this one. At least in terms of the anime. I don't know about the light novel, I haven't read it, but... Yeah, they open the door, and they're immediately greeted by the intimidating visage of the Gleam Eyes. So yeah, I mean, I can understand wanting to get a good look at the boss. Yeah, the thing roars at them both, and they both just run away screaming. But once they get to a safe point, they start kind of making notes and just saying, okay, well, we're going to need to switch people out so that way no one really gets too hurt. And the Kirito says they'll need several shield users up front so that way That way they can block the attacks and then switch out in order to really wear it down. And Asuna even notes at this point that Kirito could use a shield since he uses a one-handed sword. And that he doesn't even use the sword that Liz made for him. But she's just, whatever. Because, she doesn't use it because it would slow down the speed of a rapier. And some people just don't use it because they think it looks dumb. But whatever, she brushes it off, time to eat. And, yeah, again, those sandwiches just looked absolutely delicious. Yeah, and she knows that she's created like a whole bunch of different flavorings and spices with because apparently the Aincrad has some kind of flavor recreation engine. Again, what is real? Why do so many things taste like chicken? Yeah, and she can make different little bottles of stuff that can taste like mayonnaise and soy sauce. And Kirito decides he doesn't want Asuna to sell it because otherwise there'd be nothing left for him. Just kind of adorable. It's been a while since Klein showed up, so here he is with his guild of the Furin Kazan. Yeah, and I guess now is as good a time as any because Klein sees Asuna and it's just like, oh, I'm 21st single looking for a girlfriend. Yeah, and then everyone, well, at least everyone else recognizes Asuna by name, and they're just, and hell, even Klein is surprised that Kirito is taking on a dungeon with someone, not just by himself. And it's more of a friendly interaction for now. Yeah, because then an entire army comes marching up, and from the guild that apparently runs floor 1 down on all the way down. Yeah, and as soon as they march, the leader just says, "at ease," and everyone immediately collapses on the floor. Just like, dude, your soldiers are obviously very tired. Pull your head out of your ass. He doesn't care. And he says that he's asking, but he more demands that for the map data, so that way they can fight the floor boss. And hell, since all players should be able to go back home, all information should be shared, since they also share with all the players on floor 1. Acting like it's so hard anymore. I mean, once you reach a certain level, it's more like just smack, okay, let's go back into town and wait for the respawn. Especially for full-grown adults like them. Yeah, Kirito is, Kirito's more mature than them because he's just, I was going to go public with the map data anyway, so who cares? Yeah, he does try to, just warn, what was his name? Kobots. Yeah, because, what was his full... Lieutenant Colonel Kobots. Okay. Yeah, but... whatever. Kirito does try to at least warn them that, hey, your guys are obviously very exhausted. At the very least, observe the boss from afar before trying to fight it. They march away and, everyone but Klein and Asuna just decide to follow after them immediately. Klein's at least a good friend, and he just tells Asuna, hey, look, I realize that Kirito can be a bit of a thick-headed idiot, but please, take care of Kirito. And as they are making their way back to the boss room, some of the monsters have respawned, and, Kobots try to lead his men in to charge the boss. Yeah. That they were already exhausted and they immediately just charged in there. Ugh. Well, we can get more into like what in the hell happened later, but I mean, Kobots at least tries to rally his men, but he gets knocked out, and yeah, Kirito has some PTSD flashbacks. So there's really no other way to put it about what happened with the Moonlit Black Cats. Yeah, and as that happens, Asuna is actually the first one to just charge in, to go after what was the Gleam Eyes. That's the name of the boss. Forgot it for a moment, but yeah, Asuna is the first one to charge in. Which I mean, even she's being one of the strongest guilds, probably seen a lot of people get get taken out. Kirito jumps in immediately and starts fighting while Klein and the rest of Ferdinand Kazan are trying to help the Aincrad liberation soldiers to get out. Yeah, Kirito has a look around, sees everyone's health bars in red, and he just crap. The only thing the only way to win is to use it. So he pulls out, well, not one, but two swords now. Yes, now he's a dual wielder. And Swordland plays once again as Kirito uses his Starburst stream to just fight and go faster, faster, faster. Yeah, he finally wins with barely just a few hit points left, passes out, thankfully only for a couple seconds, and Asuna standing right over him. Yeah, I guess, so Kobots and two of his men were the only ones lost, and apparently it's been the first time players have died against a boss since floor 67. Talk about breaking a good streak. Yeah, and for what? Well, okay, for what we can get into later. Yeah, Kirito, opens up that it was about 6 months before that the skill just popped up out of nowhere. A skill for dual wielding that no one else had ever heard of. Yeah, and, a lot of other players might get mad that Kirito had a skill that they didn't. Yeah, fair enough. I can definitely see that. Whenever something new pops up in an MMO, a lot of people want it, but only a few people at a time can actually get it. Klein even says, "Hey, they say your character is built by life's challenges, so keep soldiering on, young man." Yeah, Klein just has his way to think character by saying, he's glad he jumped in to save the soldiers. And I also said she was just, so scared, even though she was the first to jump in and start fighting. Yeah, she'll want to take a leave of absence from the guild to stay with Kirito for a while. But after that little thing, word spreads very quickly. Kirito's essentially hiding from all the info brokers and swordsmen, trying to figure out how he got the skill. A skill that no one else had ever even heard of. And Asuna says that there's, a problem. Yeah, hard cut to Kirito having a proper meet outside of, boss raids with the leader of the Knights of the Blood Oath, Heathcliff. Yeah, Heathcliff is voiced by Kevin M. Connolly. Yeah, and hell, even though it's a top guild, they're having trouble with players they have, and they're having troubles just like keeping players that especially want to actually fight on the front line. They can't really force anyone, and Kirito shouldn't be able to just poach Asuna right from them. And he's just, maybe you should pick her gaudy bodyguards better. And he gives like a half-assed apology. Yeah, heard about that. Sorry. So, tell you what, let's have a duel. If you can defeat me, Asuna can leave. Otherwise, Kirito will have to join the guild. And at this point, the timeline is on October 20th, 2024. And yeah, definitely closing in on, well, 2 years since Sword Art Online went live. And hell, even though Floor 75 would have just barely opened up, apparently there's a massive coliseum for this type of exhibition. Even the hype for everything is quite something. I mean, Heathcliff is already super popular, being head of the strongest guild, and Kirito being the one and only dual wielder, well, official, announced, yeah. Yeah, this duel has attracted a lot of attention. A lot of people want to watch it. Hell, there's nothing really to be done, no matter how upset Asuna is. And like, I guess Heathcliff's unique skill that he kind of, I guess he coined himself. Well, he could, but you know, yeah, the Divine Blade, which can maximize the offensive and defensive, and yeah, and no one apparently has ever seen his health bar dip into the yellow. And Kirito doesn't plan on losing easily. Heathcliff even tries to say, "Well, I didn't expect this duel to be such a huge deal." Kirito kind of jokes about getting a cut of the ticket sales, and just no. But when we're finished, you'll become an official member of the guild. I'll consider this your first mission. Yeah. It's almost as though he wants to keep a close eye on Kirito. Like, keep him close. Yeah, but, I mean, even as the duel starts, you know, Heathcliff is just expertly blocking everything, but he's also able to use his shield as a second weapon. Almost like he's dual wielding as well, in a way. Yeah, they keep going back and forth, and no one's really gaining any ground. Kirito finds a really good opening, and he's just like swinging down, but then, yeah, Heathcliff just like moves at completely impossible speeds and blocks it, which knocks and then simultaneously attacks, which knocks Kirito's health into the yellow, which was the rule of the duel. Whoever's health hits yellow first loses. At least Kirito's mature enough to accept his defeat and just, yeah, well, I realistically got probably as far as I could as a solo player. Yeah, and then Asuna just asks him, hey, why do you really avoid guilds and people? And he finally just is able to get it off his chest, like what happened to the Moonlit Black Cats, and yeah, he saw them having fun and joking around with each other, and he wanted to be a part of that. Yeah, and Asuna kind of understands, like, she's just, hey, it's okay, you can't die now, since, yeah, because she has to protect him. There's some nice subtlety in that scene, because, like, even as, like, Asuna's, like, wrapped around him, he, like, almost returns it, but then, like, he's still kind of distraught over everything that he has lost. Yeah. Yeah, then Kirito's official first mission after joining the guild is, well, kind of a test to demonstrate teamwork and working together. And who else would be forced to work alongside him other than Crocodile? It's like, God damn it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then they're both forced to give just like, yeah, let's fight on! Both Kirito and Crocodile are just, yay. They end up taking a break in the middle of a canyon. Kirito like opens it and almost imagines like one of Asuna's beautiful, amazing sandwiches, and no, it's just a stale bread roll. But the apparently Kuda was the one who prepared the rations for the day, and the potions are laced with a paralysis poison. Yeah, because apparently Kuda is such a sore bitch of a loser. He can't stand losing so much that he's willing to kill two people in order to in order to just like get his way. And he goes on some spiel about how he was going to say, well, yeah, he would that they would be ambushed, and Codadale single-handedly managed to fight them all off after both Gottfried and Kirito died. I don't know how the hell he would explain the red player marker, but yeah, and he's just like, oh, look what you did. An innocent bystander died because of you. Dude, shut the hell up. That was 100% you. God damn. There has to be something just completely wrong with the mind just to be like, well, I only did this because of you. Like, no, you 100% chose to do that. There was no one forcing you. No one forced you to do that, so shut the hell up. Yeah, and then Kurt even reveals that he actually has a laughing coffin tattoo up his sleeve. And he just, well, I better take care of you before the paralysis wears off. And he just like begins torturing Kirito, just like stabbing the arms and the legs, just like taking down the hit points. And in those months between like accepting defeat and the last few hit points draining out, Kirito just kind of starts to fight and holds back the blade just long enough, and then Asuna comes rushing into the rescue to heal him. Just like in like one crystal, just insta full health. Whew, that's close. Yeah, and then Crocodile, of course, goes into instant begging mode, just like, well, you weren't here, you don't understand. We were ambushed. Also, doesn't give a damn. She sees exactly what's happening, and she's a lot smarter than you, dumbass. Just uses the rapier and just knocks him down. He tries begging for his life, where he pretends to surrender. Then he just like laughs, knocks Asuna's sword away, and almost brings it right back down on her. But then Kyoto, well, boop, loses a hand. Well, at least he lost a digital hand, not a real hand, because yeah, that'd be bad. But he does just like use his fist to like just run through Cordeel's chest, and okay, we're safe. Asuna tries to blame herself, saying, "Well, you know what? I should just stay away from you now because I'm apparently just bad luck or whatever her stupid ass reason is." And he's just no, shut up. And he like his own way of confessing his feelings is to say that, you know, it's okay that his life belongs to her, and he will stay with her until the end. And Kirito even asks to just like stay with her for the night, but wow, this idiot, he just wanted to like stay in bed together, not the other stuff as he puts it. And she's like embarrassed, like she's just like, wait, so you don't want to wait, what? Yeah, but I mean, okay, I can get that the anime is driven more towards a general audience. And I did look things up, at least for the Aincrad arc. I didn't look every single detail up, but I do know that they ended up Like, more than just sleeping together. Giggity giggity. And honestly, they could have done more than they could have like obviously implied that they did sleep together without really showing anything. There have been other anime that have done it, or yeah, like shown that hey, these two are a couple. They do sleep together, but it's it's more just yes, they sleep together, not needing to show it. Now, Asuna even says that hey, the last 2 years have been special, and suggests that they should leave the front lines for a bit because everything good that has happened, if they immediately start marching on the front lines again, that's just asking for something bad to happen. Kirito suggests getting house together on floor 22 and getting married. So they both ask for a leave of absence from the guild, which yeah, I mean hell, it's kind of like a hey, let them enjoy a honeymoon for a bit. And yeah, Heathcliff assures them that he's certain they won't stay away from the front lines for too long. Yeah. Although I will say that the view from their little cottage overlooking the lake is quite something. Quite the beautiful visual there. And he Gibson mentions how like, and now we're broke. Well, hell, honestly, the price is worth it, so they can live in peace. And Kirito being like, why did Kirito have to ask if like, hey, is their relationship real or is it only in the digital world? And it's just like, dude, are you serious? Of course it's real. The nerve gear interacts directly with the brain. You know this. Why do you have to ask such a stupid ass question? Also, not even promises to yeah. Why is that so shiny? Doesn't look that shiny from there. There we go. That's much better on camera. Just kind of realized that. Anyway, Asuna says that hey, they have to do the best they can in game, and she promises that she will find him once they get out, so that way they can fall in love all over again and get married in the real world. And hell, it's kind of a well, I guess somewhat a slow episode. They're enjoying their honeymoon. They're having fun every day, laughing, and hell, even Kirito manages to give Asuna a ride on his shoulders. Yeah, and just laughing and running around and yeah, I guess kind of Kirito's way of teasing, which hell I can understand. I've teased girls I liked, just like kind of scaring them. Like telling her that the ghosts of animals that were hunted down come back at night. A pale apparition just like stalks people in the middle of the woods, and then a small girl in a white dress just shows up out of nowhere. And they almost think it's like a player, just like but there's no player marker. Maybe some kind of a bug. At least that would make more sense than anything else. Because I mean, it's not an NPC. Because otherwise there'd be some kind of a warning, like, "Hey, stop touching me. I'm an NPC," or some kind of quest giver. But if it was a quest, then there would immediately be a quest upon interacting with a quest giver. But that nothing happened. There's just what is going on? Yeah, so they have to be some kind of a player, and even though she's unable to remember where she came from or anything else important, well, we finally get to meet Yui, voiced by Stephanie. Oh, jeez, how the hell? Sa? If someone wants to correct me down in the comment section, feel free to do that, because I'm looking at that. It's just, what in the hell? But as soon as Yui wakes up, they're just like, wait, okay, so your name is Yui, and do you remember anything else? And, well, a little quickly, or one might say creepily, she jumps right in to just calling them mommy, daddy. It's just okay. Well, I mean, creepily if you already know what happens in the next episode, but but it's still there, and yeah, apparently she just enjoys eating and being there, and at least they're both smart enough to realize that, hey, the longer they keep her, the harder it will be to let her go back to her real family later. They need to go back to the town at the beginning so they can try to get back to as soon as possible, and then reunite Yui with her actual family so they can get back to the front lines and eventually clear the game. And it's interesting that they're just like talking about like, hey, this is where we all started. Yeah, still about 6,000 players are still in the game, and almost 30%, so around 2,000 or so, live in the town of beginnings. And, yeah, which includes the Aincrad Liberation Army, who have apparently turned into thugs, stealing money from kids. It's like, oh well, we have to share everything equally, and it's just okay. This is becoming less of an equal sharing and more of a dictatorship, where it's just like, well, we get to decide what is equal. Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of what happens in those situations. But Asuna's not dealing with that. Even though they are in a safe zone and their hit points can't deplete, it's gotta be kind of scary to just like have like the tip of a rapier just and there's nothing you can really do about that. And then like Yui's just kind of looking up at the sky and just like has like a weird moment, just their hearts always alone in the dark, and then some kind of like static glitch in the game. There's no other way to explain it. Everyone just like bombarded by some kind of white noise, and Yui nearly falls to the ground before Asuna can catch her. And it's just, what in the ever living hell just happened? Yeah, well, things do seem to at least reconnect, restore. As the people aren't freaking out as badly, but yeah, Sasha runs a daycare in the town of beginnings, like in a church, for all the kids that logged into Sword Art Online without any parents or adults that they knew or anything like that, who are, well, understandably psychologically scarred by what in the hell just happened and way too scared to go out and fight. Yeah, but unfortunately, Sasha doesn't recognize Yui at all. And then at the front door is Yulier, who's second in command for the Aincrad Liberation Army, wants to, thank Asuna for stopping those army thugs from like tormenting everyone. The guild's founder, Thinker, was, had good intentions, wanting to share any information and any supplies equally in a fair manner. But unfortunately, when you get too many people, a lot of people start getting greedy, just like, well, this isn't really enough, and it's just, no, spreading things equally is not enough. That's why you gotta work to make more. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, and, someone creating a ruckus and, like, kind of dividing the guild, splitting into factions, was Kibao. Yeah. Yeah, because apparently he's the one, like, with a few groups loyal within the guild, loyal to him, that are essentially hoarding the best monster spawn points. And like, people were just, like, concerned that he no longer wanted to clear the game and get out, which is why he sent cobots with a whole host of people to the front lines. And yeah, that went super well, didn't it? I guess Kibao maybe just like what was it? Yeah, it was a Kobots, right? Yeah. Kyo sent Kobots to the front line. Apparently, like, Kobots was just, like, super faithful. Just like, yes, don't worry, boss, I got your back. But that didn't go so well. Because that was the Gleam Eyes that Kirito defeated when he revealed his dual wielding. But apparently, Kibao trapped Thinker deep inside a dungeon under the Town of Beginnings. Yeah, to attempt some kind of a coup or something. Yildier begs that, Kirito and Asuna, that, she begs them to help since she, like, over the time that they've spent together, she is really fallen in love with Thinker. And hell, while both Kirito and Asuna have some doubts about what's, like, the validity of that, Yui says that, yes, she's telling the truth, but she can't really explain why she knows that Yuli is telling the truth. And at this point, it does seem that some kind of new dungeon has opened up that wasn't even part of the beta test under the Town of Beginnings. And it's just like that is even getting bigger as the floors above are cleared. And Kibao's apparently been keeping this dungeon to himself, having exclusive access to different spawn areas can be incredibly lucrative. So the first mob everyone runs into is a bunch of frogs. Kirito goes after them and just has fun with his dual wielding, just and loots all the legs. Apparently, the weirder the meat, the better the taste. But Asuna is just disgusted by that, so it's throwing them all and almost shoving one down his throat. Just, here, you like it that much? Eat it! And Yulier just starts laughing, which Yui says, hey, that's the first time you've ever smiled. As they all get closer to the safe room, the Thinker calls out, and, well, Yulier is just like, oh my god, it's you! She starts running, and he's just, no, stop, the place is trapped. Yeah, and like a giant scythe comes down. It's just, oh crap, some giant Grim Reaper thing nearly takes off Yulier's head. Kirito, apparently even with his high-level skill of identification, can't even identify this thing. Like, oh crap, this might be something as powerful as up on floor 90 if even I can't identify it. He starts yelling to, like, everyone else needs to get out. Yeah, even as Thinker and Yuli teleport away, Yui comes out of the room, almost gets smacked by it, but then, boom, immortal object. Huh. They're using that a lot, aren't they? Yeah, she spawns out some giant flaming sword that's like 4 or 5 times as big as she is, and erases the Grim Reaper thing. As it turns out, Yui is actually an AI program built into Sword Art Online as part of the Cardinal system, which, I mean, the Cardinal system itself is designed to operate without any human interactions and balance things out according to its own discretion. Yeah, the monsters, NPCs, the drop rates of items and money, all arbitrarily decided by the Cardinal process, including psychological care of the players, which was supposed to be Yui's role when the game started. It was a mental health counseling program prototype 1, codename Yui. But on the day of launch, Cardinal just refused to let her out and let her help people. Yeah, she could only monitor everyone's terror, despair, rage. Yui would have gone to try and help, but she couldn't. Yeah, but then observing Kirito and Asuna, just like, these people, they are happy. They're enjoying themselves, and sort of wandering in to try and observe them up close. And honestly, it's that point where I mean, like, apart from what happens in the episode, I think that's the point where Yui became a true AI. Because, I mean, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, hey, AI in games. Really, like, within games, at least, not Sword Art Online, but within games, it's more of a VI, a virtual intelligence, because it can only operate within certain parameters, cannot go beyond that parameters, and has no knowledge base to even try and go beyond that parameter. But Yui, at the point of like seeing Kirito and Asuna actually enjoying themselves, becomes a true AI with independent thoughts, independent action, independent will from what the creator would have intended for it. Let's just count things lucky that Yui doesn't want to destroy all humans, like most AI have in our own world have already pretty much expressed a desire to just destroy all humans. And Kirito even says that, hey, if you want something, all you have to do is say it. And she wants to stay with him forever, but apparently it's too late. Because Yui used a GM console to delete the Grim Reaper. The kernel system check is about to erase her. For Kirito and Asuna, crying out doesn't really do anything. Yui gets removed from the system, and Kirito calls out that, hey, this isn't fair, this isn't right, but you know what? Screw you, I'm gonna show you that you don't always get what you want. And he, pours Yui's, programming into a small little diamond object. Calling it, Yui's heart because, well, it's a kind of a similar. Yeah, and he even saved her data to his local nerve gear, so that way it will definitely take some time. It will be difficult, but it will be eventually possible to get Yui back as she was. And I guess we're back to the slice of life thing, because Kirito's fishing but can't seem to catch anything, and Nishida, who's apparently a fisherman in the game, outside was in charge of network security for the game. Yeah, and he's really good at catching fish. He just immediately pulls something up. And he really misses making a good dish with some soy sauce, maybe. Oh, good thing Kirito knows Asuna can make some soy sauce. And even Nishida's just, wait, hold on, what the hell? Seriously? Kirito's been trying, but he can't catch anything because the lake he was at was the only difficult lake in the area. Kind of funny. Just, yeah. Yeah, and that lake is also the home to the king of all fish. And is so strong that Nishida has lost his pole every single time trying to catch it. And invites them both to help catch it so that way it can finally be done. More as a goalpost. And like, hey, here's the goal. This is going to be epic if it can actually be done. And hell, the night before, Kirito and Asuna both reminisce about what it's really like to fight on the front lines, where the lives of those on the lower floors have become their responsibility. And Kirito even says that, hey, he was only really ever getting stronger for himself, but now everyone expects great things from him. And Asuna even says, hey, people will just have to understand if you want to take the night off. And the next morning, pretty much the entire community of Floor 22 is coming along just to cheer on Nishida. Just, hey, good luck and catch it. And, jeez, he puts a lizard this freaking big on the end of his pole. And even Asuna's just, what the hell? How big is this thing? If that's what you're using to try and catch it. Whew. Yeah, as Nishida hooks the thing, he hands the pole over to Kirito, who's just, so what do I... Yeah, he manages to use his strength to pull it back, but the line snaps. And and the thing comes crawling on the land. Asuna is, of course, the first to take action. She just runs it through once, and then, hey, it's done, and the king of the fish is taken care of. It might respawn sometime in the future, but hey, they got it once at least. And then, right on cue, Heathcliff sends a message that they urgently need to come back. Yeah. At this point, Nishida is actually the kind of a representation of the overall mindset of most of the players who are still in Aincrad. 2 years in the game, the players on the front line might as well be from a whole other planet. Giving up hope. Yeah, because most of the players that have kind of settled into life on the different floors have kind of given up hope of getting out. Asuna kind of understands, because when she first started, she would cry herself to sleep every night, and because to her every day in the game was another day lost in the real world. Now she recalls back when Kirito was taking a nap, that he realized he was actually living. Instead of losing a day outside, he was gaining a day in Aincrad. Yeah, and she says it was her fate that the day she put on the nerve gear, that was the day she was meant to come to Aincrad to meet Kirito. And even agrees that, hey, life in Sora Online isn't all that bad. It's just, you gotta make what you can of it. Yeah, so back to Heathcliff, who announces that half of the scouting party of 20 people from a bunch of different guilds, well, half of them were wiped out trying to figure out what the boss was. In less than 5 minutes, they were all wiped out, because they tried to go in to, at least look at the boss, get a look at it, and then the doors closed, sealing them inside. They couldn't teleport out, and they were all taken out. Yeah, so it's time to put together a very large force and convince as many players as possible that they need to go and fight the boss. And Kirito even says that, hey, I'm going to be protecting Asuna. That is my own top priority. Non-negotiable. And Heathcliff even says that, hey, a person with something to protect is a strong ally. Kirito thinks that... after all the time that they spent together, you think he would learn. But no, I guess not. He's just a little thick. Yeah, he says he tries to tell Asuna to stay out of the boss fight. It's just, excuse me? No. Because if he left, she would have no reason left to live. And honestly, this is like the, that conversation, it's the first time they're acknowledging that, hey, our bodies are still in the real world. We haven't moved them, we haven't done anything. We're being kept alive by machines. And hell, even Asuna just Asuna cries out, saying that she wants to go on real dates, have a real marriage in the real world, and hold him in the real world. And then no, these it's allergies. Yeah, that's it, allergies. Yeah, of the people heading out to this boss, hell, both Klein and Eagle are already there, and hell, they've all become friends, so they can enjoy a quick laugh before everything gets a little too serious again. Yeah, and they all gather around the boss star. Heathcliff gives the battle rundown just for our day of liberation. And Kirito's even just extremely nervous. Asuna at least is there to help calm him down. And telling both Klein and Eagle, hey, you guys better not die. And Klein just, oh, hell yeah, I'll make it. Eagle's just, oh, I'm gonna be making bank on these drops today. I can't miss out. And everyone enters the room, trying to stick together in the center. The doors close, and then everyone looks up at the giant, ugly thing that's just hanging from the ceiling. Yes, say hello to the Skull Reaper. Oh, the mansion. And as soon as it comes down, just instantly takes out 2 other players on the spot. Yeah, Heathcliff is the first to run in to try and block off the thing and head it off. But it just squirms out of the way. It takes Asuna and Kirito and Heathcliff all working together to block the attacks from the front. And to have something actually be done about it, and everyone else can flank in from the sides. As, Swordland plays once again as everyone works together. Now there's so many lights just from everyone's different weapon skills all coming together, and even so, the Skull Reaper is still knocking people out at every single angle until it finally goes down, and everyone can breathe a massive sigh of relief at that point. Even though they lost an additional 14 people. Huh. And everyone's just like, holy crap, we still have 25 more floors to go. Kirito notices that even with everything that happened, Heathcliff's health bar, it is still not in the yellow. So he just runs up as quickly as possible and attempts to just stab him, only to be stopped by the pop-up that has been foreshadowed so many times. Immortal object. Yeah, it turns out Heathcliff is apparently protected by the system, because it is actually Akihiko Kaiba. Kirito has been suspicious since their duel, where Kaiba had to use the system assist mode. And apparently Heathcliff will be the final boss up on floor 100. Now, apparently he enjoys that kind of cliche. And he paralyzes everyone, and he's just sporting enough to leave everyone alive. He's not gonna take out everyone there and then just cover it up or something. Yeah, he just paralyzes everyone except for Kirito. And he says he'll be up in the Ruby Palace waiting for everyone. And then in a weird attempt, a strange reward for Kirito, oh hey, since you figured it out, I'll give you a duel where I am mortal. And hell, if Kirito wins, it will end right there and now. And Kirito's just for everyone who has died, for everyone who has lost this death game, I will do that. Who can really blame him? The opportunity is right there. Take it. And just before the final thing, he's just hey Klein, I'm sorry I abandoned you down there. And Klein's just, you don't get to apologize like this. I won't accept your apology until you're buying me dinner on the other side. And hell, apparently Egil just apparently Egil acted like he was all about money, but he apparently just lost all of his profits just helping all the intermediate players actually level up and get further. Well, yeah, he may have acted one way, but he was actually a decent person. Yeah, and Kirito does have one final request, that Kaiba fixes the game so Asuna can't ever die should he lose. And she just cries out that, hey, that's not fair. You can't do that to me. Well, he just ignores her. I mean, hell, Kirito realizes this isn't some in-game duel. It's a fight to the death. And he has to fight without using any in-game skills, because Kaiba designed Sword Art Online. He knows all the skills. And hell, even if Swordland gets to play in the background once more, he can't compete without the skills from the game. And then how his own Dark Repulsor gets shattered on Heathcliff's shield. And Kirito's about to lose when Asuna just jumps in out of nowhere, just taking the hit. Yeah, Kaiba is even surprised as well. Someone should not have been able to undo their own paralysis, but well, I guess these things happen. And Kaiba just runs Kirito through, and then Kirito's spirit, gives him one last push to run Kaiba through. And Kirito's eyes just become yellow, and honestly, I see that as more than just like some kind of glitch in the system. It's more that the system has its limits. I mean, hell, even this came out in 2012, and now it's 2025. But even so, we don't know everything about the human brain. We have seen that a person under the right amount of duress in the right situation can overcome any physical limitation and perform great feats that would be thought to be impossible, lifting something super heavy or moving at unheard of speeds or just doing something that's just like, holy crap, that's not a normal thing that a human can do. And even they can't replicate it. It was just in that moment, that right amount of stress and adrenaline just made the impossible possible. And so, hell, since the nerve gear interacts directly with the mind, the physical body doesn't really do that much. Rather, the physical body does nothing at all. This is just like the sheer willpower communicating directly with the nerve gear, which that in itself can overcome the limitation that would normally be set forth in the system. And honestly, even if he doesn't quite realize it, that might actually be what Akihiko Kaiba was really searching for all along. And then, like, with Kirito, with everyone that he's ever seen die right in front of him, it's almost as though he is carrying their wills to end this world. Not just for their sake, but for all 6,000 some players that are still in the game. And hell, with Asuna's rapier in hand, Kirito finally cleared the game on November 7th, 2:55, in the year 2024. The game finally cleared. And Kirito just finds himself standing on, like, some kind of, I guess you could almost call it like a purgatory, overlooking where Aincrad, is, like, essentially being cleared from the servers. And hell, he doesn't, not only is Asuna there, but, Kaiba as well. And he says that all the 6,147 players who survived were safely logged out before Aincrad started being purged. And Kirito even asks him, just, why did you do all this? Apparently it's been so long, he's forgotten the reason. Yeah, honestly, I still think he wanted to find something that could, like, some way to overcome the limits of a system. The limits of, because, I mean, even building that system, there would still have to be certain limits. And he wanted to find something that could overcome those limits. That's exactly what Kirito just did. But, I mean, hell, Kaiba leaves. Kaiba even says that he can't even remember how long he's been dreaming of the metal castle floating in this, called Aincrad, just floating in the sky, ungoverned by any earthly law. And he says, hey, congratulations for clearing the game. Leaving Kirito and Asuna there alone, just, yeah, I mean, how he even says that, hey, tells Asuna that his real name is Kazuto Kitagaya and Asuna's full name, Asuna Yuki, they hold each other for one last moment before the game truly ends and they get logged out. Or at least Kirito gets logged out. Yeah, I mean, he looks at his hand and it's like, because this is like a normal hand. If I hadn't been using my hand for 2 entire years, it would be just like skin and bones, which is exactly what he sees just looking at himself. But, I mean, goddamn, it would have to hurt a lot just to, like, use muscles that haven't been used in 2 full years. He gets up and he's just like, okay, let me just... He grabs his, like, IV stand and, like, lets the heart monitor stickers just, like, fall off of him as he just, like, moves forward step by step that he has to find Asuna. And it is quite an interesting visual there, because he's just like heading into the light at the end of the hallway, kind of as though he's like finished one hard journey, and he's heading into the light of tomorrow. Now, I obviously enjoy the show, even with like tugging at the certain heartstrings with Sachi and Yui. I mean, I actually watched like the entirety of the first season, and then I got through the second season before the second season even got a dub. I mean, I fell in love with the whole story and everything about it. Hell, it's like, I mean, especially like the Aincrad arc, it's overcoming the tragedy of being like essentially imprisoned in another world, while just like powering through with sheer willpower. While also trying not to lose sight of who you really are, but also growing as a person. But, I mean, there is one major criticism that I would have for this, which is the length of this arc. I mean, it's just way too short. I mean, there's supposed to be 75 floors. Each floor would have had a boss. But only 3 floor bosses were shown, cramming 2 years into 14 episodes, essentially 7 hours, minus a little bit of change, because it's like each episode is like 23 minutes and change, but, well, we round up to half an hour, and then, so 7 hours, but it's not exactly 7 hours, yeah. I realize that the genre here is, isekai fantasy action. But even still, it's not as though when creating something that you have to conform to a single genre, a single line of thinking. It's not as though every single episode needs to be pure action. You can have some slice of life episodes, just sprinkle them in, and then show every single episode. And then show more details, have more character development than just 2 characters growing up. Now, I like I said, I'm only reviewing the anime in this respect, because I do know that the light novels go into much more detail about everyone's life within the game and how everything just developed, and the anime kind of abridged that extremely. Although there are the progressive movies, which, as far as I know, there's only 2 out, and there's no official announcement for a 3rd. Although, hopefully one day there can actually be a 3rd. Hopefully. I just have to wonder, whose decision was it to just completely abridge the Aincrad arc instead of going into more details for it? But anyway, that is going to be it for this Thoughtful Thursday. For those that are just tuning in, or whether you're a long time, I will be doing comment shoutouts in a separate video, which will come out a time after this. Honestly, it depends on how long the fully edited video is. Then that'll help me determine about how long after to put the comment shoutouts video. Yeah, and I'll be getting right onto that as soon as I get this file to where I need. It's going to take a little while to edit together, But I'll see you in the next one. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't hit the bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload another video. And as always, have fun.